appreciate your effort.
Israeli spokesman Mark Regev.
Following the decision by the Palestinian government to forge an alliance with Hamas, an organization that calls for the destruction of the Jewish state, we have decided to suspend all the negotiations with the Palestinians. They cannot say they're a peace partner if they're embracing the most violent and extreme enemies of peace. Now we call upon the Palestinian leadership to reverse this negative decision, to annul this harmful agreement with Hamas. If they do so, we will be ready to return to negotiations immediately.
Before Israel's security cabinet suspended the peace talks, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu criticized the Palestinians' unity plan. He said Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, who represents Fatah, is hurting ongoing peace talks. A senior official with the Palestine Liberation Organization, Hanan Ashrawi, said Israel's move to suspend the talks was short-sighted.
But Israel basically is looking for any pretext in order to scuttle the talks, in order to undermine the two-state solution, because it wants to impose its will and create greater Israel through a series of settlement activities, annexation of Jerusalem, and so on. This is really not just irresponsible and short-sighted. This showed really it shows a lack of seriousness of intent and a certain degree of malice.
Despite Israel's announcement, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said he will never give up on the possibilities of peace.
There's always a way forward, but leaders have to make the compromises necessary to do that. We may see a way forward, but if they're not willing to make the compromises necessary, it becomes very elusive. We will never give up our hope or our commitment for the possibilities of peace. We believe it is the only way to go. But right now, obviously, it's at a very difficult point, and the leaders themselves have to make decisions.
Hamas and Fatah said they will soon begin talks to form a unity government. The plan is meant to end a 7-year rift between the rival factions. Israel objects to any participation in Palestinian politics by Hamas, which has killed hundreds of Israelis in suicide bombings and other attacks over the past 2 decades. Israel, the United States, and the European Union consider Hamas a terrorist group. Mike Richman, VOA News, Washington.